All right, you got all the stuff you need, yeah.
What?
Yeah, man, you can't do business, don't have nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And when I first came to town, I used to be on the radio with, what was his name?
Brother Joe.
Yeah. What's his name?
Montgomery.
No, what the other guy? Lamar. No. He died not too long ago. Once again. Sharp. I used to do a church program on this. I used to do it 8 o'clock.
Where?
Where he would come to wake you was here, but he would do the one. He would come tomorrow.
Okay.
What's his name? He used to do music and stuff in the cop. He used to be an DJ, and he used to come. God, I know you know him.
Oh, wow.
I think what's his name was on that same station too, Joe Montgomery. When he was
1660.
What's his name? I used to call it the and I used to call it that singer was the thing. Yeah, man.
All right, we're gonna count it down. All right. Good afternoon. This beautiful Monday. It's cold in here. It's cold outside, man.
Yeah.
You know. But welcome to Church It Ain't Easy. You know, it's been a while. You know, during the holidays, we kind of got occupied and doing the grandchildren thing and getting lazy, sitting on that couch. I laid on the couch so long one day I thought my shoulder separated.
Man, what you talking about? I love my couch.
Hey, and the granddaughters and wife cook.
Yeah.
Wife make up all the cooking cause most of the time I cook because she be at work.
Right.
And so I like cooking, but she don't like eating my food that much. But when she's home, she catch up on cooking. She love doing some cooking. So, but it's so good to be back here again on Church It Ain't Easy. This is a show that we created a few months ago to just talk about stuff church related.
Yes.
Because church and show ain't easy.
No.
There are a lot of controversial things that the church has to address.
Right.
And there are a lot of times that we want to say something, but you know, I was doing radio for years. I was limited to how much I could say and how much time. Well, here at the CNET studio, I can say what I want to say when I want to say. Yeah. And we can address some of the topics. You know, one of our first shows was Church Hurt. I heard about the church.
Right.
And we've covered a lot of issues like that. We don't do politics. We just basically just talk about issues and different things that affects you in the church world.
Right.
And, you know, last time I was in here, we interviewed Dr.
Yes, sir.
Edward Ross and First Lady Ross. They were preparing for their groundbreaking ceremony.
Yes, sir.
And it was super nice. And, you know, he's a doctor. He came all in here, this suit and all that. I say, man. Yeah. And, but I'm just glad that, you know, we have an opportunity to sit down and chop it up so people understand something about us.
Yes, sir.
I see you on Facebook all the time preaching. I go back and look at your sermons.
Yes, sir.
And I write notes. I take notes of certain preachers I follow.
Yes, sir.
Because they have something to say. I don't look at everybody on Facebook. But you're one of the ones I always go back on Sunday evening. I see you preaching all in different places.
Yes, sir.
And I like how you share services wherever you are.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
If you're in New York, he got their phone up, bringing it back home. So I want to welcome to the Church It Ain't Easy audience worldwide, baby, Pastor Waylon Sias. He's the pastor of the Zion Hill Baptist Church right here in Waco, Texas. Let's give him some love. Let's give him some love. Give him some love.
Bless you, brother.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to introduce yourself to the listening, to the viewing audience, because we're live on Facebook, we're on YouTube TV, and on Spotify.
Okay.
And we have people just listen. They drive down the car and they can pick up the audio on Spotify. And so a lot of people see you.
Yes, sir.
But that don't mean they know you.
Yes, sir.
And so if you could introduce yourself.
My name is, as he said, Pastor Waylon Sias Sr. I was actually born in Topeka, Kansas, but I call Fort Worth home because my father was in the military. I was born, my baby brother was born, and then we moved to Georgia. And from Georgia, we moved we moved from there? We moved to Shreveport. And then from Shreveport, we moved to Big Spring, Texas. That was and from Big Spring, we moved to Fort Worth when I was in the 4th grade. And so I called Fort Worth home. I started preaching at the age of 14 at the Rising Star Baptist Church. That was 1976 when I received my call. I preached my first message March 13th.
1976.
1976.
Oh, wow.
I preached my first sermon March 13, 1977. I was ordained October that same year. I was licensed, 1977, October 1977. I'm a graduate Trimmer Tech High School there in Fort Worth. I started, my first pastorage was Greenville, Texas, St. John Baptist Church.
Wow.
St. John, that was in the 80s.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
My first church, St. John Baptist Church. And I was musically inclined and gifted. So I started true groups. We had started a school choir back in the 80s. That's when everybody started having gospel choirs at the school. And it was accredited. So me and Elder, I don't know if you know Elder Anthony Harrison. Elder Anthony, he pastors in Fort Worth. Pastor Thomas, who passed, Culture Church. Elder Anthony Harrison, he was a good friend of mine, and we started a choir with Tori. Tori's like a sister to me. Her name is Tori Ferguson, and we started that choir. In fact, we taught that choir. Was on the beginning stage of what is called the Israelite Gospel Singers. It started off with Sojourner Truth. It was a community group. I'm from a family of 10, 6 sisters and 4 boys.
Oh, wow.
My sisters are older than me, except one.
Oh, wow.
And so it's 9 of us left. My baby brother died in 94. I have 5 children. I lost a son. He was a musician, a preacher, just a genius. He died in 2004 at the age of 20.
Oh man.
And so we're raising this granddaughter now. She's 23, just graduated from Tarleton University.
You know,
So,
I didn't even know. I don't think I knew you in '04.
yes, sir.
But you know, that is something that we've lost a daughter.
Yeah.
People don't understand. You never heal from that.
You never heal.
You never heal.
Yeah. And so we raised this daughter. She's 23 now. Jasmine. Jasmine just graduated from Tarleton State University in education. She's early childhood development. 3 daughters. My oldest, I have a son that lives in St. Louis, Darian. He's 40. He'll be 43 this year.
Oh Lord, wait
He'll be 43
wait
this
a minute.
year.
Darrell, you know, my son Darrell, he had a birthday on the 5th. I'm trying to figure out how old he is.
Is he 46 now?
I think Darrell 46.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my oldest son is 43. My oldest daughter, she'll be 42 in January. Well, let me tell you how this works. So my middle daughter, Sophia Manigo, she's married.
Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia, we call her Sophie. But she has a 20-year-old, and they started all over. Got a 20-year-old and an 8-month-old.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
And so, but Nicole will be 42, and Nicole turned 42 on the 4th. My middle son, my oldest son, turned 43 on the 29th. My middle daughter turned 39 on the 30th of December.
You know what they say? A man told me this a long time ago. He said, "You can have all the boys you want. You better have some daughters.
Oh man!
When you get older, that's who's gonna take care of you.
That's who's gonna take care of you."
You know, you've been preaching a while.
I've been
You
preaching.
start talking about 76 and
This
early
year will
80s.
be 49.
Oh
March
Lord,
the
have
13th
mercy.
will be 49 years.
Back,
That's all I know.
back when
Yeah.
I'm a little older than you, 3-4 years older than you. So back when you said 76, and then I started thinking about what I was doing. I was dodging the police
40,
and all of that kind of
40,
stuff.
46. My baby girl, she's a recording artist to Shay Sias.
And she's outstanding.
Yeah, she's 36. She's in Fort Worth with her business, and her oldest son is her director of music now.
Oh wow.
Her music director now. He's accomplished on that keyboard and drums. He's just 16, but
Man,
he's just a child prodigy.
but you know what? I bet when y'all get together, y'all can show enough have some church.
Oh man, we had some church, man. But preaching, all I know, man. I started preaching at 14. I was in band. In fact, I'll never forget in high school, I was a good student, you know. But when I started preaching, man, while I was in class, everybody doing work, I'm putting service together.
Well, bless you. Hey, what's up, Otis Tucker?
Yeah.
You know, Enzy Burris say, "Hey, pastors."
Hey, Otis Tucker is a good friend of mine. What's going on, Brother Tucker?
You know, I'm one of them grafted in Tuckers.
Yeah,
down there. They let me come down there and hang out.
But I met Otis in Fort Worth.
And Otis
is before I came
Otis
to
crazy. Otis crazy.
Yeah.
But I love them. I love that family. That family's they just, it's a lot of them and they connected.
Yes, that's right.
And I think
them
today
them Tuckers and them Tuckers and them Cyphos
and them the greats and them
all
Evans.
Yeah.
All them people don't start no fight down there.
All that.
It's when I first moved to Waco, I was playing basketball and I was gonna get in a fight.
Yeah.
And finna get in this fight, you know, say, I done went to the point to say, at the game, I'll be at the car.
Right.
And so, and they call the dude the great. I said, oh, Lord, not the great. It's a million of them.
That's a million of them.
Say, my bad.
Man, they have them the greatest, them Tuckers.
Oh, yeah.
And them Cyphos are all in Fort Worth. I used to be in a group when I started preaching. It was quite a few of us started preaching between the age of 12 and 16 and 18. We used to have a group called the Fireball Express.
Fireball Express.
That was named by some senior pastors. It was about 7 of us. 5 preached regular. The other 2 were subbing in if somebody else couldn't come. And man, and we preached all over the Metroplex.
Now, you know, I will say this, as a young minister, you're hungry to preach.
Yeah.
You're hungry to preach. And I grew up in that era where the older pastors, they would sit on you. They'd squat on you, especially if they saw a different skill set.
Yeah.
And it all depends on how the people respond to you. But we would go out on the street corners.
Yeah.
I used to go out on, and I played the guitar. No, you not play the guitar.
Right. Yeah.
I had a I call it crusade.
Yes, sir.
We call ourselves the Crusaders.
Yes, sir.
I played the guitar. One of my friends, we call him Sweet. He played the bass.
Right.
I had a drummer, and I had a dude play the keyboard.
Right.
And then a couple of young ladies would be singing. We go out there on Friday nights and have our own, deal.
Right.
And those were exciting times. Even there's Arthur Sneed.
Yeah, that's
What's
one
up,
of my
Richard
sons.
Thomas?
Superintendent.
Superintendent.
Great preacher.
Oh man, he set the stage.
Man,
that end of the year revival that we had at Bishop Gillum's church, Living Word,
yes, sir.
Church of God in Christ. And I wanted to bring you on here because we bonded together for years and years, and it just seems like I don't even remember where I met you, but it seemed like I've been knowing you all my life.
Yes, sir.
You just fit in to my box.
Well, man.
And I'm blessed and highly favored to be able to call you a friend.
Yes, sir.
Because as pastors, we know a lot of people, and people say, Mr. C know everybody, but I don't really have that many friends.
That's what people always say. We know everybody.
Yeah.
Well, we might be acquaintances.
We know you because we see you.
Yeah.
But I do consider you a friend.
But I'm a pastor's friend.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that's what pastors need to understand. And it's so sad. The best friend can be your pastor, and your worst enemy can be your pastor.
That's right. That's right.
Pastor, and that should never be.
Should never be.
Because we're in this to work together, man. And so I'm not one who I don't like to pass bad news about pastors. I don't like when people run off. Because one thing, I say 3 things about pastors, and those on here can write this down. 3 things about pastors. Number 1, they don't expect. They don't expect you to do what you say you're going to do. They don't expect you to do nothing. They don't expect. You ain't going to do nothing. Number 2, you're a suspect. Whatever that you're always a suspect, even if it ain't you.
They don't expect, and you a suspect.
And even if they find out you didn't do it, but he guilty of something. And then number 3, they won't protect. They know folks lying on you and they won't say nothing.
Man.
They come to you and say, Pastor, they would just lie to you. I know it wasn't true, but did you say anything? I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to get involved.
Yeah, they let you rip the pastor up. Some pastors do that. Now I will say this. Now, you might have a conversation over something that happened. It's like with the Jake situation and all that. Naturally, we're going to talk about that. But the way I look at it is people love it when cowards love when a strong man falls. Yeah. And nothing pleases a coward more than when somebody strong has fallen.
Oh, and I was thinking about Superintendent Richard Thomas. His father was good to me.
Oh, Lord.
His father was always kind to me and my wife, kind to me, kind of preachers. In fact, I was acquainted with him way back in the 70s.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah. Bishop, that's when Bishop was still alive in Dallas. My mind.
Haynes,
Bishop Noah Haynes. He was the Minister Alliance I was part of. Sometime he done the citywide revivals and things like that. Him, a lot of the guys. God has blessed me, man, in preaching all denominations. So,
man, I'm telling you,
I'm just a gospel preacher. I don't.
You know what? It's crazy. I preached coast to coast. I preached all over the state of Texas. I'm originally from Dallas.
Yeah.
I've never preached at a Church of God in Christ in Dallas, Texas. I preached at Baptist, non-denomination, full gospel, but I don't know what these Kojic folk think. They I preached, I guess, because being in the jurisdiction this way, we always south.
Right.
But you mentioned Bishop Thomas. Now, one thing about me is when I have a pastor, I had 3 pastors.
Yes, sir.
And my father and Elder Benson and Bishop Thomas.
Right.
And I always study my pastor.
Yes, sir.
I studied Bishop Thomas, and I would see Bishop. I just moved to Waco, and Bishop Thomas, I would see his car at the church on Waco Drive, and I wasn't a member. I was just going around. You know how you go. You don't want to join the church too early. And I asked him, on Saturdays, he say, I spend 8 hours by myself in that church, working on my Sunday sermon.
Right.
I'm like, and he said, I'm a full-time pastor, so 8 hours a day I'm at the church.
Yes.
I have a schedule.
Right.
And he treated it professionally.
Yes.
And his work ethic and all of that, I learned to mimic his pattern.
Yeah.
You can't replace him.
Yes, sir.
But if you sit under somebody long enough and if you study him, you go grab a lot. I grabbed a lot of how to put a sermon together from him. And what I found out about the great preachers, and I consider him a great preacher.
Yes, sir.
The greaters seem like the preacher. They are willing to share with you.
Oh, yeah.
They want to share. They don't want to keep it.
You know, when I came up, man, it ain't easy. It was hard. I had to write my sermons and I had to give it to my pastor.
Oh, he had to scream it.
Oh, yeah. Man, but it saved me. And so he looked at that. He said, boy, this title and this text don't go together. He said, boy, that ain't true. Where'd you get that from? But he was protecting me from getting embarrassed out there.
And we could accept discipline.
We could accept discipline.
And correction.
And then here was the other thing. I didn't go preach nowhere without talking to my pastor about it. And if my pastor said, no, you can't go.
You know what they told us? They taught us this as a young pastor. And this is what I do with young pastors, young preachers at my church. I say, learn the Bible stories.
Yeah.
We had to learn it. We had to preach the Bible stories. And they would say, you can't come in here talking about what the church ain't doing. They was in here while you was out doing what you're doing.
We preach. That's called, you don't preach pastoral sermons.
Nah.
You preach evangelistic messages.
Yeah, that's right.
Of that sort, you know. But I thank God for my pastor. He was tough on me. He was hard on me. But I thank God for him. In fact, when I was in high school preaching, he suspended the rules and allowed me to go to Bible college on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was going to school with pastors and with guys that were 50 and 60 years old. I was 15, 16, 17 years old, yeah. And so, but it helped me. But man, while other pastors, there was a lot of young preachers, they preaching somewhere every week. But I was at home. But my pastor was national. Well, Rising Star Baptist Church, Dr. T.H. Davis, we had 5,000 members in the 70s.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
They didn't call them mega church then, just big church.
Yeah.
And he was president of the Congress for the Missionary Baptist General Convention of Texas. He was a national officer. So I followed him everywhere he went. And I had an opportunity to be around and under some of the great minds and preachers. You know, me I've gone now and other preachers, but it helped mold you and help teach you and train you and instruct you the do's and don'ts, you know, how to carry yourself, you know.
Now, my father was a Bible man. My father had books everywhere.
Yeah.
And I would ask him, I said, one day I said, you ain't read all them books. He said, pick one out.
Yeah. I
picked out a book, told him the title of the book. He say, one of them chapters talk about such and such. And he go on talking about it. Then I say, no, you just lucky. I picked out another one. He taught that Bible. So he taught me the importance of that base. That foundation got to be Bible based. And we could learn from those men today. Yes, and I always had my father in my life. And when I had church issues, I could talk to him.
Yeah.
But you wake up one day and they gone.
Yeah.
And I woke up one day and I felt like I wasn't covered because I was starting the church. I was starting church a couple of years, so I felt like I wasn't covered. Right. And God always positioned somebody in your life.
Yeah.
Superintendent Bobby Robertson. Man, I would sit at Superintendent Bobby Robertson's house on the patio and just talk to him for hours and hours, and he would pour into me. And then you wake up one day and he's moved on down the road. And you like, you realize, well, it's my time to be a father. Yeah. And then my son, you know, I'm always mentoring my son and always, it's about 10 pastors that I actually work with. I'm helping develop And it's not because I want them to be in no association or nothing like that. But you got too much knowledge just to keep.
Yeah.
More than preaching.
Yes, sir.
And let's talk about what I really want to talk to you about is the church after the pandemic. The church before the pandemic, was how do you feel about the church now?
Let me say this, man. Before pandemic, the hill was almost full. It was almost where I'm gonna have to start telling the choir they got to stay up there. They get through singing, the Lord was blessing. But I think that the pandemic, nothing catches God by surprise.
No.
Catch us by surprise. But I believe, man, that we found out two things about the church. We found out who was really in love with God, and when he found out those who were just,
coming to church.
And it gave me an opportunity to get rid of some of what I call the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things, a lot of churches, different Baptist church be on fire, and then you stop for the announcements. I cut all what I call fluff. I got all that out the way, and man, it's more about praise and worship and preaching, because the highlight of every service is the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Nothing is greater than that. Not the singing. It's the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's where revelation, that's where the information comes. That's what we inform the people and teach the people. And because, man, nothing happened if it ain't taught. If you don't teach on giving and tithing, it ain't going to happen. If you don't teach on love, it ain't going to happen. If you don't teach on respecting the pastor and that he's the head, everything, it will not happen.
Yeah.
So you got to, and so it's major in that. But I also think, man, that at the end of the day, there's what you call the saints and the ain'ts.
Saints and ain'ts.
Everybody going to church, it ain't a part of the church. See, I like the whole theme. I go back to the whole theme I mention all the time. This is the church of God in Christ. You can't just join in. You
gotta be born in.
Gotta be born in.
Bishop Blake changed the name of that. He said, because y'all got folks thinking if you ain't third, fourth generation, you can't get in. He said, nah, they changed that.
Yeah.
But
and I also think, man, that God has a way of bringing people to the church. He allowed things to happen that'll make us run to him, because so many times it's all about, when you first got saved, you couldn't wait to get to church. That's all you thought about.
Yeah, excited.
They get in it for a while now.
Yeah,
man. And so God has to do some things, get us to turn back to him. That's the Lord says, seek me while I may be found, draw upon me while I am near. And the problem is that, man, we forget about that. We forget that everything we got came from God. Everything we know, God taught us. Everything where we been, God bought us. And where we're going to go, he's going to bring us. But we get caught up, man, and we don't need him no more. So we have to allow some things to happen to us.
Oh, yeah.
So we turn back to him.
Well, I look at some of the positive things out of the pandemic. I lost a grandson in the pandemic. So, I'm always hurt behind that.
Right.
But it's like with, say, you and the Baptist brethren.
Mm-hmm.
I see y'all all the time. We might run into each other, but I think during the pandemic, the preachers, I'm talking the real men of God, we bonded. It was not about denomination. We came together, Dr. Jimmy Hunter at my barbershop in my backyard, everybody came together and, hey man, how you dealing with this? How you dealing with that? How you dealing with that? And everybody was so connected because we were in such a battle. And I think that's one of the things that it threw the devil out because he thought we were going to segregate. We united.
That's what he used to destroy the church, but he didn't.
Yeah, we united.
And then in some of our situations, we had less people, but we were raising more money.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this. We all came together. I bonded with Dr. T.E. Malone.
Yeah.
That's one of my mentors.
That's one of my mentors.
I love him. I love him, man. I got to see him once a week.
Him Pops.
Pops, yeah. I got to see.
Call his wife Mom.
Mom.
Yeah.
So she cooked them chitlins. Every time she cooked chitlins, she said, "Come on."
A lot of chitlins, man, but I ain't mad at nobody.
Hey, she cooked them chitlins, boy. I'm telling you. But you bond with people, and you don't realize that it was God working.
Yeah.
And do you realize this? I don't know. I've said this redundantly to pastors. God knew a pandemic was coming.
Oh yeah, he knew,
and He prepared us.
Yeah,
us.
But I'll never forget it, man. It was my anniversary, the third Sunday in March.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife go to we are part of an organization called MUNS, Minister United for Ministerial Development.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a national network. And so we were meeting in Longview. We went down to the meeting. I'll tell you what, we got a call about the toilet paper, tissue. So what we would do is we were driving. Every Family Dollar General, we'll stop. We load up the truck with toilet tissue, toilet tissue, hand,
sanitizer.
Napkins and everything. And we just loaded up. So, cause man, we got kids.
Yeah.
And so we loaded up, man. And so I'll never forget, they cut it short because then when they was put the clothes down. And so we needed to get back. Because what we was told, if you don't get back to Waco at a certain time, they not gonna let you in. Boy, you got to. That's why I tell folks all the time, when you hear something that sounds strange, Google it.
Yeah,
Google it, man.
What you mean they done shut Waco down? I can't get home.
Stop that. So, but we was on our way home, and I'll never forget that was when that fourth Sunday is when they was talking about the numbers, that you couldn't have, man. But what we did, man, we rallied, man. We just worked, man. We done Bible study, online. I still do Bible study online if we're not having it on Wednesday, but we've been in-house. But then we did Park and Praise. You did too.
Oh,
but I love that, man.
Man,
we had to get that.
And I'm trying to praise. You see, I had a pavilion built.
Yeah, we had a pavilion built. Man,
I love. You would understand. We preachers understand because I said we're not coming out there in the morning. We're coming out there at 7:00, and so you have people on the parking lot in their chairs, and it's just like you doing I have a dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial. Your voice echoing all of that, the ambiance. It was just, it was powerful to me.
We started ours at 9:00
in the morning.
Every morning. And man, I thank God for Eric Taylor was my musician.
Oh, you had the best.
Eric Taylor. But Eric would get there early, man, have everything set up, the keyboards, the mics, and all of that. And I'll never forget, man. In fact, we have a Caucasian lady. Her name is Denise Maple Carver. She pulled up in the garage, pulled up in the parking lot and asked me, because she listened in. I said, we're glad to have you. I'm Pastor Waylon Sias. Man, she came and joined our church, faithful, tither. A lot of folks came. In fact, one of the situations we had, I'll never forget, we came in one of our back doors. It was a letter. Would y'all please stop doing this outdoor service? We truck drivers, and this is the only day we had to sleep. On Sundays.
Oh no,
man! In the Waco Finest was on the corner. They would stop and listen. They didn't bother us, and we kept on worshiping.
Well, I love being outside, and we had the church recarpeted, redid a lot of stuff inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we did the outdoor movies.
Yeah,
we did I got that inflatable 20, I think it's 20 foot, and we went outside and I didn't realize that a lot of the children today, they never went out to outdoor movie theater.
Oh no.
So they were out there, and the community was out there.
Yeah.
They would come out there on their pallets, and we were giving free popcorn.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, them hustling women at my church. I call the women at my church an Illuminati. My wife got more pastors at my church than I do. The women decided one time they were giving away ice cream. Mm-hmm. Anybody get some ice cream, they give away ice cream. So the next time they say, hey, can we cook hamburgers or something? No problem. So they had the grill stuff out there and all of that. While the movie's going on, it was a line of people in the community coming by.
Right.
And they say they made $700 something because people couldn't get out.
Well, man, here's the thing, too. The church, we have to reinvent ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And really what we have to do is be what the Lord had told us to be in the first place. We got to make ourselves known in the community where we serve.
That's right.
And really, the truth, we living in a day, it used to be a day and time where it was community churches. Where people lived, that's where they went. Most of the time because they didn't have transportation.
Yeah.
But now, man, there's no such thing as a community church. When I mean that I go to that church because it's in my community.
Yeah.
People drive all the way from Fort Worth to go somewhere, all the way from Austin.
When drive away from Waco to Dallas.
Yeah, when I was in Austin, man, I had people drive from Austin to when I was in Marlin. But then, man, when I pastored in Greenville, Texas, in Greenville, Texas, I would be going home from a revival early Sunday morning to get to my church, and the highways be full from people coming all the way from Arkansas and Fort Worth and Dallas and Texarkana because they were going to Church on the Rock. That one, Church on the Rock, was real big.
Was that there?
What's that little town outside of Dallas? It'll come to me.
Let's start with
Rockwall.
Rockwall.
That's that church used to be Church on the Rock. Man, you in the highway, it'll be from both ends coming to that Church on the Rock. That building said 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that was Larry Lee. He started Church on the Rock.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would see him, but people go where they're led.
But you grew up in a church that had 5,000 people too. So
yeah, but they said 5,000. They had way more than they had about 25,000, but they said 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
When I look at where we are now at the pandemic, of course we did the Facebook and we did the Zoom teaching.
Yes,
we did the Zoom teaching.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, Superintendent Melton Timmons, he's the president of the trustee board of Church of God in Christ.
Right.
Good friend of mine down there in Tyler. He said that they never did go back inside for Bible study. They do Zoom Bible study.
Right. A lot of people do that.
And so he said, and this is what really I learned from him. He said, we really got to look at how to pastor. We got to pastor a little differently now. Say people don't got to taste the Zoom. You got the technology. So you can get the word to them, don't mean they got to be at the church.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of those, I'm going to the church. But I turned around and for the month of December, we did Zoom. And I'm like, about every member at the church is on here. So now Tuesday nights for a few months, we're going to do the Zoom, Zoom Bible class.
The reason why I did went back in, because before Bible study, I could work with my ministries.
Yeah.
Mostly my men. I teach, we meet at 6:30. And I teach the women ministry meet, the youth ministry, and the men ministry. I personally teach the men myself. And we've been dealing with, man, I've been staying right with that text. What is man?
What is man?
Be mindful of him and just talking, man, about men stuff. And so, that's been a blessing. We meet in the church and I still do Facebook. So I have those who can't come, but we're still meeting. We're still meeting at the church. We do our men ministry from 6:30. All of our ministry from 6:30 to 7:15.
Oh wow!
And then I start Bible study at 7:20.
But I think
going well for us.
I think we probably have. Sometimes you come in our church, we look like a Muslim church. We have more men than we do women.
Well, we got a lot of men too.
But that is great because, men will follow a strong man.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And
you got to be straight up with me.
Oh, yeah. They can peak game. Yeah.
You got to be, and one thing you can't do with me, you can't embarrass me. You embarrass men, they'll leave you. Men,
Oh, yeah.
you can't embarrass men.
I got a policy at my church, and that is this, especially for men and women. Well, men, I want you up there at that front row.
Right.
I want you close to the front as you can get, because number one, you're a leader.
Yeah.
You're the head of your house.
That's
so
right.
You don't need to be sitting back there at your wife.
Yeah.
Nobody gonna mess with your wife and all of that. And I believe, and I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. You've been pastoring longer than I have. I feel like we should find something for people to do soon as they show faithfulness and get them in the right direction. I know. You can't just jump and put somebody in a position. They have to get stable.
Right.
Get stable, and as they grow, find something for them to do. Because I think a lot of times people sit on the sideline, and you have to ask them, "Hey, we need you to do this. How would you like to at least be an usher or something?" I believe in finding something, because they can take ownership of it.
One thing I believe is that everything we need is in our church.
That's right.
I don't care how few remember. You'll be surprised of the gifts that's in that church.
Oh yeah.
And so what I'm getting ready to do this upcoming year, I'm be teaching the gifts, because a lot of members don't know what their gifts are.
Oh yeah.
And so, but I think that a smaller church is different, because every able body is important.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me, but you still have to find out what are their, because sometimes like we'll mess up with, we want all men in the choir. All men don't sing.
Hey, we have two men that sing.
Yeah.
Fred Griffin sing real good, and we got Ken Porter. On Men's Day, we all the men get up there.
Yeah.
And somebody say, "Do y'all need to practice?" They don't need to practice.
I've been practicing on every Thursday. We start a male course back, but here's the thing about that, because I'll never forget one time I'm at church, and guy get up to, they doing the devotion. He called all the men up there. And so all the men up there, right?
Yeah.
But here's the situation. This is not even talking about where I'm at now. All the men up there, but don't know no song. So you got 3 folks singing, the other just looking. I said, that don't look good. So they rehearse, but that's if you want to sing.
Yeah.
We ain't, because singing ain't for everybody.
Right.
So, but we have something for all of them to do. What I mean by that, some things is just help.
This is Bishop Destry C. Bell Sr. in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Hello, Bishop Bell. He said, "Amen. Love you, my brother. So proud of what you're doing in ministry.
Amen.
We speak affirmation to you down there in H-Town. Love you, and look forward to getting in touch with you and crossing paths." Now, when I look at some of the things that, and you were right, because one thing that I did, I'm always going to trainings all over. The coaching, we got trainings, leadership trainings, and you got to go
it's
to
needed, man.
You got to go to it.
But and the sad thing about it, some people don't want to be taught nothing.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. So I was having a leadership meeting every month. First Monday of the month, I had a leadership meeting. I had about 20 people in there. All of them had positions.
Right.
And so I wanted a projector, and I wanted some things. We don't really need that. And so I was getting frustrated, because every time I come up with innovative things, like upgrading technology, we don't need that right now. So you start getting frustrated. And I realized, I say, so this meeting ain't working. So I went to a training, and Bishop Henley in New York, he was giving the training. And I pulled him up. Hey, when I'm sitting there, I'm going to pull you off to the side. Right. Hey, look, come on, Starbucks. I'm going to ask you a question. He said, instead of having leadership training, leadership meeting, call it leadership training, and open it up to everybody who want to be a leader. Well, what happened was the millennials came. When the millennials came, after that second month, they got the projector. They built the sound room. They got us on Giblify. One of them say, Giblify, you got to get on this. got to get online giving. And for about a month, every Sunday, he came down there and told people how to give online. Little did we know, 90% of the money come through my church is given online.
Yeah.
Text to give. And so when the pandemic hit, they were already in position.
Man, here's
the millennials.
Right. Here's the important part. This is true, and this be good for pastor or anybody. If you have a senior church, you're a dying church. If you have a young church, you're a broke church. Now watch this. Young folks do Friday things with their money. Somebody, what Friday thing? Football game, basketball game, movies, the club, entertainment, shopping. That's what do. Them seniors, if they can't come to church, pastor, come by and pick up my tithes, or have somebody to send my tithes. Now you have to give a $5 they can give.
Oh yeah.
But you always have to have somebody that can catch the vision.
Oh yeah.
And run with it, because sometimes others can't see that.
And I find a lot of pastors that the church that they pastor actually hinder them from growing, because they have visions, they have God-given visions, but they restrained.
This I say it like this: the Bible said, "Without a vision, the people perish."
Yeah. Without
the right people, the vision will perish.
That's right. And
did y'all hear what I said?
Yeah, you got to have the right people because they can carry it.
Without the right people.
And I look at the balance of our church right now. We're multiracial church right now, and I never thought that we would get to that point. They just showed up, and stuff. God sent people where He want them to be positioned. He's the placement agent. Yeah. And so one thing that I realize is you are who you draw. You are who you draw at your church. Pastors, if you just drawing women, then that's what kind of ministry you have. You just drawing old people. You are who you draw. And the only way you can get better, you have to work on that. You got to pray. You got to sharpen your skills.
You have to put
all of that.
You have to put people in position. I'm getting ready now to get me a Hispanic minister, because in my church, whenever we have our outdoor things, whatever we're doing, my daughter and her husband sponsored a back to school event. Man, we had about 35 vendors.
Oh, wow.
We had the police department, we had the city, we had the transit.
I saw all that.
Yeah. And so, but watch this. A lot of them are bilingual. And so you need so I want to draw them. See, I want to draw them, but I need somebody to help. Because
funny you say this. Funny you say this, because Sunday we had 2 Hispanic ladies, and so they come down there to ask people. I say, come on, they say stand in Spanish, right? And so they say,
right. So let me tell you, and the reason why, what made that so important to me, I'm with a group called For Church One Message. That's Black church, Hispanic church, 2 white churches. Billy Edwards at Brazil Meadows, Tommy Frazier at Mold Breakers, Mario Sandoval at Maranatha and Zion Hill. We swap pulpits every quarter.
Oh, wow.
So, and then when we do combined services, we have a interpreter. So in October at the Heart of Texas Fair, we do a worship service the first Sunday in October.
I remember I saw you over there.
Yeah, and so we swap out who preach. But then we have the worship team is of all our churches, and so we have whenever we preach for that, and whenever we preach when we meet together, we have an interpreter as we preach.
Who came up with that?
Billy Edwards. It was Billy. This is exactly how it came. I met Billy Edwards when I was in Marlin. I'm a part of I believe that the more things a pastor can be a part of, the better it is, not only for his ministry, but also for his growth as a pastor. And he can better help his people.
Oh, yeah.
Them folk be knowing stuff coming down the pike. You understand? We don't be knowing.
We don't know. You got to find out.
Because we don't. And so man, he asked me would I have breakfast with him, and so he asked me would I join him because he do that service at the fair. So then, man, we met again, Mario and then Tommy Frazier all joined. We've been doing that thing 8 years, man.
Oh, wow.
Man, let me tell you this, man. My folks love when they come preach, and they folk love when I come preach.
Well, let me tell you my first time I did this. A friend of mine, close friends, he was with me with AIM. He was my AIM secretary.
Right.
And he called me one day and asked me, would I want to go on the border to do an Easter revival, like 3-night revival on Good Friday. And I said, where at? And he told me where it was. I said, ain't there a Chapo them down there? And he said, yeah, but he said, I go if you go. His wife was from down there.
Right.
And so here's the fascinating thing about it. He said they were, me and him and his wife and my wife, we go places together and all of that. He said one of the pastors down there in the Rio Grande Valley saw them, say, do you know that guy? Say, I watch him on Facebook, not on Facebook, on YouTube, because I'll record stuff and put it on YouTube. Right. And he said, you think he would come down here? Y'all know him? And I don't consider myself no Waylon Sias.
Oh, no.
Nobody like that.
Don't do that.
But he turned, when I get down there, actually it was 8 churches, 8 Hispanic churches. And this facility in this nice, beautiful church would hold about 400, 500 people. Real nice church. And I was like, okay, they flew me down there and all of this. And when church started at 7, you know, I like being, I'm gonna get there early.
Yeah, I mean, so that's my pet peeve is being late.
Man, church supposed to start at 7 or somewhere like that. We get there about 6:30. It was 100 people in there praying, at least 100.
Oh yeah.
And so it was the first time that I ever had an interpreter. And so I would say something and an interpreter would come and have.
Well, you got to, when you're preaching with an interpreter, you got to slow down your pace.
Well, this the first, I can do it now. I could do it. I could do it then, Doc, because you get happy.
Now, when I first, it was a guy, I can't think his name right now. But that old boy, if I start hooping, he'll hoop with me.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
but you know what? This is what I saw. This is what I saw and witnessed down there. The cultural differences. Okay, now they have all these people. They're early. Black folk ain't go get there early. Right. Y'all know it. I say it again. Black folk go be late. Okay, so they had the band that was dressed a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when they was doing the singers were dressed a certain way. Then they had the flower girls, flag girls, was praise dancing while praise worship go on. Then when they do a slow song, then another one would come out there. And I was just like, man, this is fascinating. It's that those cultural things that they actually would come together to do that. And it was just awesome. And I'll never forget that. And I did it.
Yes, sir.
I did it 3 years in a row. But here's the unique thing about it. They wanted me to baptize.
Right.
So I baptized 200 people.
Yes, sir.
In the river.
Yes, sir.
200. And they had me on the radio and all of this. Hey, check this out. I feel like I was somebody. Man. So when I got my wife would call me every night because they was putting it on Facebook. Right. And so when I got home, I told my wife, I'm pulling up. My wife came out there and she happy to see me. And I said, I let the window down. I said, you ain't gonna open the door for me? I said, you supposed to open the door for me. She said, yo, get out that truck. You should have opened the yard before you left. It was funny, but it was different. Yeah,
man, I used to, and so, man, and through that, you learn so much when you spend time with people.
Yeah.
How much we are more alike.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And not on that, man, how important ministry is to them and for others of denomination, other denomination, because Billy's Baptist, I'm Baptist, Tommy is Pentecostal, Mario's non-denomination. But you learn how important And how?
Well, the thing that unite us
Mhm.
got to be stronger than the thing that try to separate us.
And so, man, we work, and so, man, but them brothers, man, I trust them brothers, man. I'm talking about brothers now. And man, but our churches, they church love me but you know what? But when you go preach for them, they want you to do what you do.
Yeah.
If they wanted you to do what they do, they would invite you. They want you to preach like you preach. And but man, this is different note, but I need to say this. When I first started ministry, man, I was a choir director, singer. But I noticed what happened. I was always invited to sing.
Yeah.
Not to preach. So what I did, man, I wanted people to know I'm a preacher. I left that singing alone.
Man,
I wanted to be known not as a singing preacher, but a preacher who happened to sing. That's a big difference.
That's the big
from a preacher who happens to sing than a singing preacher. See, so I sing for a preach sometime. I don't hardly sing as much like I used to, because man, the word is important. You know, a lady saw me in the store one day at the mall. She said, "Ain't you Pastor Sias?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I watch you every Sunday."
Yeah.
She said, "But I noticed you don't sing no more." I said, "Man, I got other folks to do that. I'm up in age."
You pray for me, because we had set up all this high tech stuff, and we were getting ready to. I told them, "Don't go live. Let's just record it.
Yeah.
And we'll play it on Monday or something like that." And I almost passed out. And so ever since then, I've been paranoid to go live.
Mm-hmm.
And 2024 was the most challenging physical year of my life. I mean, I blacked out. I dehydrated, my organs shut down the first Sunday of June. Yeah. And I've never been in an ambulance, but I was in an ambulance and I got a sciatica attack, and I never had that. Right. You know, I slipped and got a concussion, got a big old patch out of my head. Mm-hmm. It was just one thing after another. Then me and my wife were, I was trying to move a desk, and I don't know what she did, but she made it fall and broke my toe. And I just say, "Oh Lord, what's going on? What you doing to you, boy?" And I learned some things, because my alter ego, I know you don't have an alter ego. I got an alter ego.
I do too.
My alter ego, I call him Stupid Stimson. Stupid Stimson think he 35 or 45, but he really 65. He won't sit down. He's running around doing this, doing that, like an ant, always busy. But I learned in 24, one of the most powerful words in the language.
Yes.
No.
Yes. You know, let me let you know, I used to brag about all the time. Man, I used to brag everywhere. 32 years, I ain't missed but one Sunday in church. One time, used to say that, man, when I was younger. 32 years, I missed one Sunday. One Sunday, I had a bad sinus attack. I couldn't raise my head up off the pillow. It hurt so bad. That's why I bragged about that. But you know, last year, from January till January of 2025, now October, I'm sorry, 2023, I had prostate surgery. And then in January, I had hernia surgery. I missed in 7 months, almost 7 months, I preached twice. And then during COVID, you know, when COVID came, that December, the week before Christmas, I was in the hospital with COVID. 6 days, man. And so I missed 9 weeks of preaching. And Eric Taylor preached so well for me that when I got back, St. Mary called him. St. Mary called Eric to be their pastor. Pastor Taylor doing an awesome job there. But I'm just saying, man, but God's been good, man. He's a healer. Because at one time, man, I thought my voice would never come back. I thought my energy would never come back. I used to call my healing, you know, able to recover. I don't care how much I preach. Give me a day, you know, I can recover. But man, I told my church I told my kids, I said, my superpowers is gone. That's what I call about. But it wasn't me, it's the Lord. But the Lord, man, he's been so good.
I discovered a new superpower. It's called my remote control.
Yeah.
I can change them channels in the dark.
Yeah.
But Pastor, there are a lot of preachers that have influenced us.
Yes, sir.
To get here, you didn't get here by yourself. I'm like a turtle on top of a fence. Somebody put him there.
Right.
It's a lot of people that even today that I love their preaching. I love their teaching.
Yes, sir.
And I go back and watch some of them on Facebook, and I do a lot of looking at pastors on YouTube. One of my favorite all time is Bishop Noel Jones.
Yeah, I love him.
Love him.
I love him.
Campbell.
Yes.
Chavis.
Yes.
That is a.
Yeah.
Of course, Bishop Gilbert Earl Patterson.
Yes.
I look at them guys, and
Right.
and here's a Bishop Patterson been dead for a minute, but technology has it.
Yes, sir.
Where my wife will be YouTubing him, and you actually still feel the spirit.
Right.
Who are those people?
Man, I love all them that you mentioned. I love some Noel Jones.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I knew Noel Jones from when he was down east.
Longview.
Yeah. And so, but man, some of my early mentors and influencers was, I don't know if you know, but they called his name was, you used to call him T-Bone. He was Kenneth Wayne Johnson Jr. He grew up in Fort Worth. He's a pastor in Louisville now, but you might know him from WWE Wrestling, Slick. Reverend Slick. He was tall. He was a manager for WWE Wrestling. But he's my oldest brother in the ministry.
Wow.
He was Kojic, but he joined our church. He was Kojic, went to Baptist school. He was our assistant pastor. My preaching style, I found who I was as a preacher through him. He was my big brother. I went everywhere he was when he preached everywhere. I went everywhere he preached. And so, but then CBT Smith, he's late. He pastored in Dallas, Golden Gate Baptist Church. In fact, Jacko pastored one of his churches.
Wow.
CBT Smith. He used to call him Alphabet Smith. In fact,
I remember him.
It was a church. This was said about him. It was not a church that he couldn't get in and slay that house.
Oh wow.
They called C.A.W. Clark, who was another mentor, the preacher, but they called CBT Smith, the people's preacher. So wherever he went, that house was gonna pack. Ralph West is a great man. He pastors church without walls in Houston. T.A. Davis, who was my father in ministry, J.W. Smith. Some of these guys you may not know, but they were excellent preachers.
Yeah. As a young man,
yeah.
As a young man,
Paul Morton, Bishop Paul Morton.
He's good.
Yeah, that's
as a young man, you looking for. I didn't see a lot of young men doing what I was seeking God to do, and I ran into Cornell Hamilton.
Yes.
Out of Louisiana. I met him, and I think I was like 21, 22. And he was playing the keyboard and all of that. And I went to Shreveport, and we bonded. And he was like my big brother role model. We were so close. His wife was pregnant. When we met them, they named their son Carlton. They named his son Carlton. And he's Apostle Cornell Hamilton now. He changed my life. He spoke into my life. He prophesied to me. Everything he said came to fruition. So I went down there. He wanted me to come, down there. I went down there for revival. And so he's talking about his son, Carlton. Now check this out. This is crazy. We went over he said, Carlton got a barbershop. What do you think the name of his barbershop was?
Mr. C.
Mr. C.
Now watch this now.
Oh, man.
Now let me tell you. Now, who are my influencers in the Kojic Church coming up? Noah Haynes, uh, Bishop Black. Remember Pastor Black? Pastor Black had he had left. S.E. Mitchell was the evangelist.
The modern day Lazarus.
One of my mentors. Spent a lot of time with him. Yeah, spent a lot of time with him.
We lost some great preaching preachers.
Elder Sample in Fort Worth.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Good.
He just lost his wife this year.
Yeah. Me and his brother, me and his son, we're real close. But he's been in a lot of. I spent a lot of time.
We had one of my favorite Kojic preachers to die during the pandemic, Pastor Willie James Campbell.
Yes, sir.
He passed. I still go look at him. On
man, he be preaching too.
Man,
preaching is preaching. I don't care. See, man, I don't. I just love good preaching.
Well, it's food.
Yeah,
it's preacher food.
Yeah, and so, hey, man, I spent a lot of time listening to Pastor Thompson, Richard Thompson, father.
Bishop Liddell Thompson.
Liddell Thompson. I spent a lot of time.
Now, here's the thing that captivated me about Bishop Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Thomas preached unusual
Bishop
sermons.
Mosby. I spent a lot of time.
Bishop Thomas, he turns around.
Mm-hmm.
He preached a message about the boy that had the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And he say, all he wants is you. He say, boy, Jesus wanted his sandwich.
Right.
He preached that sermon, and I'll never forget this other one. My people as a wild bull caught in a net.
Yeah.
Like,
man, for the Methodist Church, C.W. Pruitt, he one of the bishops. I've seen him go everywhere, man. Every time he went somewhere to preach, I only got 5 minutes. I got to catch a plane. He was because he was busy, but I just love preaching, man. There's some great preachers, and I appreciate quite a few culture churches.
Oh yeah.
In fact, man, when Demetrius Beecher started his church, one thing I told him in Marlin, I won't hurt him. I'll do anything to help him. I preach plenty. I preach for his father. I preach for him, Alan Dixon, plenty of times. Man, I love Pastor Gillen, Gilbert Gillen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, I just preaching is preaching, man. I don't have no caught up with no denominations because there's some folks that are Baptists ain't preaching nothing. So and here's the thing when you said about Bishop Liddell, man, if you full time, you have no excuse.
You know what?
I've been full time, man. I've been pastoring almost 36 years. I've been full time almost all my ministry.
But you know what? Here's the problem I have with preachers. Some preachers.
Yeah.
They don't work on their craft.
No.
They don't work on it, and they wonder why the church don't grow.
You got to spend time.
You got to invest
and
in time.
A lot of time, what people say about people who stay busy, you need to sit down somewhere. Man, you need to tell them folks they would set them appointments if they was getting them to. See, man, I'm a preacher. I love to preach, and I love to hear preaching. I don't just love preaching. I love to hear preaching.
Oh yeah, it's food.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and so I love to hear preachers as much as I love preaching.
I know that's right.
Like I say, man, my first church I told you was in Greenville, Texas. In fact, my first sermon I preached in March 13, 1977. Yield not to temptation, for yielding is sin. From Genesis.
But what is your focus on this year?
Man, I'm focused on one thing I've been dealing on. My main thing I've been preaching on, I started at the end of the year, is we are better together. Teamwork make the dream work.
Oh yeah.
Bringing the church together. But I'm going to be teaching on this year the gifts. A lot of people don't know what the gifts are. And when you don't know what your gifts are, you won't ever be effective. So many people are in the wrong place.
Oh yeah. I believe you have to discover, develop, then deploy.
That's right. Here's the thing. Just because you love kids don't mean you're a youth director or a youth minister. Everybody ain't been called a pastor. But in the most of the time in the African American church, if you ain't a pastor, and most times they don't recognize you.
And sometimes people got to get away from, of course, we pastors now, but they can't delegitimize you because you're not a pastor.
Not a pastor.
I was, when I got ordained, all the guys that got ordained out of that first 2 or 3 classes, all of them had churches with, and it was 7 years as an ordained elder.
Right.
And then I still had started church. And I didn't want to go to places where they tried to send me, but 7 years I was still there faithful waiting because I didn't want to be a failure. But
I'll tell you what else I found out, man. It ain't always meant for you to pastor in your hometown.
Oh no.
I've pastored 3 churches. I've carried on for 3 churches.
That's the mayor of Downsville, Pastor Dr. T.E. Malone.
Moderator,
my
friend, my brother. I teach for his revival. Me and Micah Davis do his revival. This upcoming year.
I preached one
with me and you.
Me and you did
for
it
his church anniversary.
That's right.
I preached one night. And I forgot who was the last preacher. Yeah.
But great man. We appreciate him. I got to get him set up where he can do it from the house. Right. He ain't getting out in the cold. He ain't getting out in the cold. I know that, but he's doing a great job.
He's been good to me, man. He's been good to me. In fact, when I was a pastor in Marlin Baptist, I was an officer in my mind went whatever district. My mind went. Boy, I'm getting at that age.
Yeah, slow down.
But I'm in Ruler Grove, but they was he's the moderator now. But I was a member of that district, Good Hope Western District.
Good Hope Western. Well, I spent a lot of time with him. Because moderators and superintendents pretty much the same thing. So a lot of stuff that he had implemented, I go back and implement it. That's how we grow together.
Yeah.
Well, I want to appreciate you taking time out to be a part of this podcast today.
Welcome, man.
We're looking at just trying to create a forum.
Yes, sir.
A platform, rather, so where pastors can come and talk. And of course, if there's anything going on in the city that we need to address, we can always do that. But I want to thank you for being here today. And do you have any last words?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for letting me come, man. I'm humbled by this. I love to get the word out about, and I love to see preachers doing great things and pastors. And man, I'm a supporter. I want to see you. We need it. Always need a platform.
We do
to get the word out of what we're doing and how we're all on the same team. I also like to talk about my KPA that's coming.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
KPA. All you gotta do is let me know. We come up here. It don't have to be on Monday.
Okay.
It don't have to be on Monday. We can hype that up and help promote it out there because can't nobody make your announcements like you can make your announcements.
Because it's out on my page and everything, but I like everybody to be a part of it. So
all 4 of y'all come up here.
Yes, sir.
We just bring all 4 up here and we'll let y'all chop it up.
My KPA that I'm having come Kingdom Pastoral Alliance.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, how many you think we can get in here?
Maybe I can get the bishop to come.
Will you make it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You got a platform now.
Yes, sir.
You don't have it's inexcusable for you not to do it.
Yes, sir.
So you have a platform now. You see what we all about. You get that word out whenever.
Yes, sir.
You don't need no special invitation. Just let me know, and I'll make sure the door is unlocked.
Well, I just want y'all to know you're welcome to come visit us at Design Hill Baptist Church, 2919 McKenzie Avenue in the north side area of Waco. Our services start at 9 a.m. on Sundays. Hey, man, our Sunday school started at 8 a.m. You're welcome to come.
You're always selling tickets.
Always selling tickets.
That's what we do. Hey, a lot of people suffer during the holidays. A lot of people going through a lot of different things right now. Heaviness. On your way out, could you pray for the people?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I just want you to know God is able to heal, deliver, and set free. He's trustworthy. One thing about him, he is able, he is capable, but the best thing about it, he's available at all times. Let's pray. Father, we love you. We thank you. We praise you. We thank you for this platform. Thank you for Pastor Carlton Simpson, Pastor C. And we're praying, Father, for all those who are down, all those who are sick, all those who are suffering, all those who are homeless, all those who lost loved ones, that you will give power, that you give strength to them, that you will heal them, that they know that you still save, that you still deliver, that you still set free, and help us as men and women of God and the people of God to be more accessible and available to help those that's in need. We love you. We thank you. And we lift you up, Jesus, because you still save,
Yes, God.
you still deliver, and you still set free. We thank you. We praise you. And we magnify your name. And we pray, God, for more open doors for the people of God. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so very much for coming. Tomorrow here, we're going to be doing 12 to 1 o'clock Bible study here in the studio. So until next time, God bless you. We'll see you again. And be careful and wrap up if you're in Central Texas.